It's Monday. It's morning.
And it's macabre on a Wednesday.
Looking like macabre on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday. Putting the spookiness into hump day.
Gotta be that baby.
Yeah, so it's Wednesday. But you know what? Guys, okay. Guys, okay.
Guys, okay.
It's the Big E this week, and I ended up at the Big E, and then my kids.
His
And
kids.
so, my kids.
God damn 'em.
And so we're
Do you
a
want
couple
to
days
explain
late.
to listeners what the Big E is if they're not from
Sure, it's the
Massachusetts?
Eastern... No, they all know. The Eastern States Exposition. It is a giant fair that happens in Massachusetts in the month of September through some of October. They get some of the biggest names in music, like very old bands that were famous 30 years ago.
I love that. I remember
yeah.
I was like 8 and I went to the Barnstable County Fair on Cape Cod and I saw Three Dog Night and it was
Fuck
sick.
Yeah. Dude, I saw fucking Smash Mouth was there a couple years ago. Rest in peace.
Oh, rest in peace. It's pretty much the same bands that play at casinos.
Yeah, it's like a giant casino.
It's like a big old casino.
And I'm putting it all on black, baby.
Sheesh.
But you got all your fair food, you got your rides, your whatevers. And my daughter had the best time of her life, I think. She was so happy, and all the rides, she was like super excited.
She loved that.
She loved that, dude. Although, Scony, guess how much it costs to buy a pizza? Like, if you wanted to like share a pizza with your family.
Wait, a whole pie?
A whole pie.
I'm guessing like 28.
$40.
Wow.
For a whole pie, baby.
That's
for
a big
cheese
old pie,
pizza.
baby. How big?
The pie, just a standard, like,
like a large?
I don't know. Yeah, like a large, medium to large.
Large, medium to large.
Yeah, going once for the large. So yeah, it was a heck of a time. And that's why I couldn't get it to you guys on time, because I was having too much fun. Sorry.
Sorry, dude.
Sorry. Sue me, Scones. What did you do this week so far?
Me?
Yes. It'd be weird if I was just like, hey, tell me what someone else has done. I'm talking to you, Scony. The other Scones. Come on.
Who, me? I did a lot of... I recently purchased a home. So a lot of
Scones
that
has a mortgage.
Ripped up a floor.
Uh-oh. Found a body.
It's kind of gross under the floor when you rip it up. I'm like, ew. This isn't
like
nice.
What? This is like bugs and sticks.
No, I did find an immense amount of mice poop under my cabinets.
Hell yeah. That's good news.
Glad I got that out of there. Bleached pretty much my entire first floor because that's gross. And
love it.
I just, I'm having a good time.
You made a great decision. Why don't you give out your address to everybody? Let's hear it.
Yeah, if you're looking for a good time, roll through.
Let's give away. Okay.
I will not. It's in the state of Rhode Island. I will say I am moving from Massachusetts to Rhode Island.
Oh my God.
Big transition.
Big
cultural
change. Yeah,
shock.
Real shock. Do you okay, we should both give out our social security numbers and our credit card numbers.
And then whoever gets stolen first.
More. Yeah.
I like where this is going.
Okay, we're cooking.
And the results are in. That would be sick.
That would be so sick, dude.
So
our banks
sick.
would be like,
I wonder
did what?
if cybersecurity companies ever do that. They send out certain just fake things and are like, what kind of shit
a sting
gets
operation
more?
Oh,
or just like research.
Yeah, why they just do some research.
Just do some research. Just fucking Google it, guy. What are you doing?
Use ChatGPT.
If you're on the cutting edge of cybersecurity, why don't they just Google how do we protect computers better?
That's such a good point, dude. Dear Google,
Google,
how do I make passwords gooder?
Yeah, do it better, dude.
Excuse me, Google. It's your turn. Do it better. Google. So that's the tea.
I love the tea. Actually, I don't love tea. You know what I love doing with tea, Dars? You know
What
what
do
I
you like doing
love?
with it? Spitting in the ground.
Throwing it in the harbor, baby. Let's go,
Ooh.
USA!
Hey, that's a Boston guy.
Undefeated, and except unless you count those wars where we lost, but undefeated.
Can't stop, won't stop, baby.
Sheesh.
Scony, I've got some stuff to tell you about.
Oh
That's
my
spooky.
god, though. Oh my
Oh my
god.
god. Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
god,
Oh
though.
my
What do you
god.
think would be the scariest if you were dropped into a Pixar
Yep.
universe?
Already terrified.
What
Continue.
is scariest? And
Uh,
you are the size. So like, if you're in Bugs Life, you're the size of the bugs. That's just like a little. You adapt to the
Oh.
universe.
Can I say like proportions of human bodies? Because like that should be crazy.
I don't. Yeah, no. You have a dump truck if that's what you're asking.
Okay, that's my question.
If you're dropped into the Incredibles, you have
yeah.
dumparooski, Dars.
Okay, so this helps my situation immensely.
Good. Again, research, like I said.
What would be the scariest like? What do you like? Creature, human? Like, what do you mean? What would be the scariest? Like a nightmare I had as an ant? I don't understand.
Well, no, ant would be pretty scary because those grasshoppers are coming to get you. Which
or
if
I had to be
is
a small
horrifying
thing?
because you're like fuck. I am a human in a world full of machines that are here to annihilate.
Are you saying which Pixar universe would be scariest to live in as a human? I'm still confused.
You're a human.
Okay.
You're a human, but you're like, just for the sake of Bugs Life,
I'm modified to their universe.
For the sake of the Incredibles, your ass is huge. For the sake of
every other Pixar film, my ass is huge.
Yeah. Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc. would be bad.
Pretty scary. Because that's the whole point of like the beginning of that movie, right?
Right. Although I guess there's other humans in that movie, right? Like you can. That's just a universe where monsters are real, which is pretty scary.
And fucking like transdimensional doorways. Like
yeah, that's true. But that could be kind of cool.
Up would be sick. Wally would be sick floating around that chair, just getting
Wally,
huge.
I'd be like living my best life in Wally. You said Pixar, right?
Yeah, sure did, buddy.
Ooh, buddy, maybe Coco.
Toy Story would be really scary.
Coco would just be there. Just like would be an afterlife that I can have like
that would
fun
be sick.
in. You know,
knowing
so like I would choose that. Yeah,
I think knowing there's an afterlife that's a party would cure a lot of the human experience.
I would be like, yo, what are we doing on this side of the fucking ground, dude? We gotta go chill. Like that dude's playing the bandstand later, and he's like sick, and we're all skeletons and have a good time.
I think Coco's the best. Objectively, I think it's number one. If you had to live
number
in
one with a bullet
universe.
in my head in the Coco universe.
Yeah. And the worst, I still think Cars or Toy Story are pretty.
Cars is scary.
Imagine the toys Sid makes that are all
that's scary.
Coming to life.
Yep. Also, well, no, that's not even. I'm not even gonna get into that. But
I don't even know new Pixar shit.
Dude, I'm a Pixar old head.
Like like The Good Dinosaur. Did you ever see that?
I did because I have children who love dinosaurs.
Oh, right, you have children.
Yeah. So that was like that movie has great like environment animation. Ooh. And then the rest of the movie it makes me want to go to sleep. You
were leaning over to your like children, like pretty young children being like, you know how hard it is to animate water like
be
that?
Like, guys, do you see how that grass is like the wind is it looks so good.
How many pixels
is that ray tracing? Yeah, so it was a boring movie. But what's not boring is today's subject. We're at 9 minutes and I don't want to waste these kids' time. So Scones.
Yes.
I'm talking about something that we have tangentially talked about in the past.
But dude, cosine, tangent, sine.
Yeah, so we got a sine wave on this one.
Okay.
So
what about
previously? No, previously we've talked about Ed Gein, right? And
yeah, he was a famous American philosopher.
Yeah, who made like nipple belts and stuff. So he
craftsman, you're saying. You know what they say? Live a simple life, work with your hands. You'll be happy.
Not all who wander. So he's he was a serial killer who like used human skin to make like lampshades and like he was a really not cool guy.
Dude, sometimes you need
a lampshade and you're like, I'm
away. And never let them out again.
Yeah, amen. So today we're actually going to be talking about his mom, Augusta Wilhelmine
We're talking about his mom.
Gein. We talk about his mama.
Wow, so this is a real Friday the 13th kind of situation.
Well, so she's basically who inspired Norman Bates' mother in Psycho.
Oh, also another. Wow, there's a lot of shitty mom, shitty son combos out there.
Hashtag, it's like a
Shout
Denny's
out
Grand
Sue,
Slam of
my
bad
mom.
parenting. It's a weird time to shout out your mom.
Well, she's the best, you know. I can only hope I grow up like her the way
I hope I can be a
Jason
mother
grew up
like
his
is.
mother, or Norman Bates grew up like his mother.
Yes. So band, slap, 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 clap, clap, clap.
Bolby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
I've got an All That's Interesting article pulled up in front of me.
Excellent. Is that a website or a book? What is that?
I think it's an app. I don't know.
Oh.
But it's one of those apps on your phones.
I have that for I find my iPhone.
Yeah. So I found your iPhone and there was this article on it.
Yes.
Written by Austin Harvey, edited by Jacqueline Anglis.
Oh, the Anglis herself?
Yes. So this article is titled Augusta Wilhelmine Gein, the serial killer's mom who inspired Norman Bates' mother in Psycho.
Psycho.
So
Psycho.
Let's get spooky. Known as the Butcher of Plainfield, Ed Gein was one of the world's most twisted serial killers. A murderer and grave robber who used his victims' body parts to craft furniture and clothing. Gein's horrific crimes served as inspiration for some of the most well-known horror films of all time. The Silence of the Lambs, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Psycho. The last movie is of particular note, however, because it was not just Ed Gein who inspired the film, but his mother, Augusta Wilhelmine Gein, as well.
Whoa, Augusta Wilhelmine Gein?
Wilhelmine Gein, my dear
Wilhelmine
boy.
Gein.
Nice to meet you. I am Augusta Wilhelmine Gein. So, raised in a family of German Old Lutherans, Augusta Wilhelmine Gein grew up believing that every human thought and deed was infected with sin.
Wait, hold on.
Fucking
What year is this?
childhood. This would be... What would this... Well, her birth would be like... Oh, man.
I want to know if Nazis are involved.
So she was born in 1878.
Oh my god, dude. Ed Gein's way older than I thought he was.
Yeah, Ed Gein's got that.
Yummy, yum. So not quite Nazis yet.
No. This is not quite Nazis.
But still is like, everyone's bad.
Everyone is really bad guys.
Everyone is stupid except for Flula Borg.
It's so specific.
First German that came to mind, baby.
Yeah.
Second one, Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
Name one more. Name one more German. Do it.
One more German.
One more German.
I've got one in the chamber.
Can't be Austrian. Has to be German.
Ooh, that narrows things down.
Yep.
Can't think of one. So she passed the belief on to her son as well. She instilled in her son that sex was evil and that women were instruments of the devil, which is just crazy.
Men, brother.
Finally, someone spitting sense.
I'm pretty sure Andrew Tate said that.
Yeah, she inspired. Actually, she was the first, alpha.
Like, yeah,
she's the first person to escape the Matrix, dude.
First men's rights influencer.
Augusta Wilhelmine Gein. Despite Augusta's fervently religious and overbearing nature, Ed was completely obsessed with his mother. Much like Norman Bates in Psycho, and after Augusta died from a stroke, Ed was utterly devastated.
Devastated, dude. Poor guy.
Ed devastated.
Ed DeBevics.
Ed DeBevics, refusing to believe his mother was truly gone forever, he became chillingly determined to bring her back. Ooh.
Now we're talking.
Dude, imagine that high school yearbook, most likely to bring your mom back from the dead, dude. That's a
I just
superlative.
missed out on that. It was all politics.
It really was. People were campaigning. It was gross.
People were like, "Hey, scones, your mom's not dead. You can't win this award."
You're not allowed. Also, why is this a criteria? Why is
And
this
I
a
was like,
category?
yeah, I had to tell them I was a student athlete and that I can win anything. Always on the grind set.
So, refusing to believe his mother was truly gone forever, he became chillingly determined to bring her back. In a desperate attempt to quasi-resurrect his mother, Ed turned to murdering women and stealing corpses from a nearby graveyard so he could create a woman suit and become his mother. So,
Did it work?
that's the crazy part. It worked
You're not gonna
exactly
fucking
as
believe
planned.
Real Pet Cemetery situation. Do you see they're making a?
You won't believe this shit, bro. Yeah, this is the prequel. Yep.
Yeah, I was talking about that with Mitch the other day, and I was like, "That's something they didn't need to make."
Mm-hmm. But you gotta milk that IP, baby.
I guess, but Stephen King has so many fucking books that you could turn into.
Nah. Stevie only gave him the green light for Pet Sematary.
Dude, remember how disappointing The Dark Tower was? Anyways,
I never even watched it, dude.
ugh.
I heard bad things. I was like, I'm just gonna forgo this entirely.
The books are so good.
Yeah,
And then the movie was like, whoa, the cast is amazing. And then I was like, wow, they made 3 movies into 1 movie. I mean, 3 books into 1 movie.
That's one of those
That
things
has
where you're like,
never worked.
no.
But studios are like, we're only doing that.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say.
Well, if you try to spread out like a book, a movie, it never works out. They're never popular like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or the Hunger Games. People hate those.
People
they never
hate
make money.
that, dude. They hate it. They're renowned for nobody liking it.
That's it.
So-
I'm on the side of the strikers, SAG-AFTRA, Writers Guild. I'm on your side. Studios, you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
So he wants to make a woman suit, and
Yes, back to the one.
So while Augusta was alive, she had always hoped to protect her son from evil, which is hilarious. She did a shitty job of that.
Don't parents always want to do that?
Yeah,
Dars, how are you protecting your kids from evil before you judge?
That's a good point. So first of all, I'm telling them all that basically women are instruments of the devil. So making sure that is
okay, good,
ingrained. Yeah, mostly that. I'll find local animals and just put them in cages and stuff.
Yes,
Very cool stuff.
Okay.
That I'm very serious about, and this is not a joke. Scones.
Do not take this as a joke. We don't joke here.
So her obsession with purity and sin and her determination to isolate her son from all that was wicked fatefully warped her son's perspective of the world, and she unwittingly raised a depraved killer. How religion shaped Ed Gein's mother. Born Augusta Wilhelmine Lerck in 1878.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Easy. James Baxter.
Ed Gein's mother grew up as one of the 8 children in a family of German immigrants from Prussia who had settled in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
They got lacrosse, brother?
Yeah, it's La space CROSSE, but yeah, they were lax bros.
That's sick, dude.
Like many other old Lutherans, the Lercks left Prussia as part of a mass exodus. It's important to note that her faith, Old Lutheran, was far more conservative than the mainstream Lutheran faith.
Ooh.
According to their beliefs, all humans were full of sin, both in their thoughts and actions.
Filled to the brim, baby.
Baby. They said were infected with immoral motives. Because of this, they also believed that all humans deserve to burn in hell. Why would you follow that?
Isn't that original sin the same thing?
It sounds like it's that cranked up to 11, though, because it doesn't even sound like they have the opportunity to go to heaven. They're just saying everyone's gonna burn in hell.
Then what's the point of religion?
That's what I'm saying. Why would you follow this one if you're we're fucked anyway? Why wouldn't you?
Nothing matters.
Oh boy. On December 11th. Oh boy. On December 11th, 1900, around the age of 22, Augusta married a man named George Philip Gein, another child of German immigrants who had moved to Hamburg, Wisconsin with his family. 2 years later, Augusta and George welcomed their first child, a son they named Henry George Gein.
Henry George Gein.
George Gein. Per the New Zealand Herald, George Gein worked a series of odds jobs, taking gigs as a carpenter and a tanner, but he struggled to stick with anything for long. This was largely due to his struggles with alcoholism. His wife, meanwhile, ran a small grocery store and tried to keep the family home in order, but in time, she began to resent her husband. However, Augusta's religious beliefs prevented her from divorcing him, so her resentment steadily grew. Soon enough, she developed a deep hatred of men in general and dreamed of giving birth to a daughter.
Amen.
Augusta did not get her wish. Instead, when the couple welcomed their second child in 1906, they were presented with a second son. They named him Edward Theodore Gein. Not wanting her child to grow up to be the type of man she so loathed, Augusta raised Ed with an overbearing protectiveness that slowly warped his perception of the world.
Well, to be fair, I bet she never met a man that is like the way he was. She succeeded in raising someone who is not at all like anyone she's
not
ever met.
very different. I mean, she kind of got her wish, I guess. How Augusta Wilhelmine Gein isolated her son. Having grown sick of lacrosse, which is a hilarious sentence because...
Dude, I'm just... It's going to play soccer now.
Being sick of her sick lettuce flow in her cap.
Being sick of ripping twine and racking up Genos.
Augusta considered to be a hotbed of sin. Having grown sick of lacrosse, which Augusta considered to be a hotbed of sin.
Hotbed of sin, baby.
Hotbed of sin. Going once, going twice.
I got one hotbed of sin. I got two hotbed of sin here.
Augusta demanded that the family pack up and move to an isolated farmhouse near the rural town of Plainfield, Wisconsin in 1915. At the Gein house, away from the sinners in the city, she could raise young Ed and Henry to become the pure men she wanted them to be. The young boys were forbidden to leave the farm except to attend the nearby Rochacree grade school, which was a one-room building with only 12 students. According to a report from Radford University, Ed was known to be a voracious reader, but he struggled to fit in with the other children. He was shy and had a lazy eye, as well as a lesion on his tongue that affected his speech. Other kids at school often shunned him, and even when he tried to make friends, his mother punished him for socializing. So this dude was just, he was screwed. There is no way you make it through life and not make nipple belts with this situation.
You are. It's a lot of
so
assumptions.
Beautiful.
You are so beautiful. To me.
That's what he would sing to the other kids.
To me.
Augusta was worried that Ed would turn out to be like his father, an alcoholic failure. Ooh, bad news, Augusta.
Big time cool guy.
And believed that isolating him from his peers was the way to prevent this, which makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, you want to get a guy in a box, and you want to give him nothing, and he'll straighten himself out. The prison system works.
To make matters worse,
my dog is dreaming right now. She's behind me,
no.
and she's letting out little yelps.
What's she dreaming about?
I don't know. Probably like closing deals in the boardroom and on the golf course.
To make matters worse, George was physically abusive and frequently beat Ed, angered by his sons crying over bullies at school. Oh my God, dude. This is
he's got to learn to fight, Darce.
Imagine being like, I'm getting bullied at school, and your dad's like, bro, wait till you see this shit, bro. Like,
you want to know bully?
Like, what the hell?
I just feel like, this is crazy. The mom part's crazy, but like way too many of like our parents' generation actually grew up with like that kind of shit. Which is probably why they're all
fucking.
So well adjusted.
It's so crazy to me that like I cannot imagine like my son coming home and being like, I got bullied, and me being like, gonna have to mess this kid up. Like, I don't like. How does that thought process even like? It's just insane.
Well, you have compassion. That's your problem.
That is my. That's always been my biggest
problem.
issue. Yeah, I'm stuck in the Matrix, dude. All the while, Augusta fostered in both Ed and Henry a deep disdain of women and a sentiment that sex was the work of the devil. Then, when Ed was 12 years old, Augusta caught him doing something in the bathtub.
Wait, like J-O-N or like something?
Yeah.
I have to ask because it's Ed Gein.
No, this was yeah. Well, listen to this. This is the craziest thing in the world.
Hit me with it.
In response, she grabbed his junk and referred to them as the curse of man, which is like,
man,
what an insane situation.
It's very biblical sounding.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The curse of man.
The curse of man is one day not easily broken, baby. Unless, of course, the man is the macho.
So just 2 years later, at the age of 14, Ed dropped out of school after completing the 8th grade. His mother continued to speak badly of his father, and Ed developed an increasingly intense attachment to Augusta. He believed that men were weak, and psychologists have suggested over the years that he wanted to be a woman like his mother. As a show of devotion to her, Augusta asked her sons to remain virgins, warning them that having sex would ultimately lead them to damnation. At this point, Ed was, which is weird because she has 2 sons.
Yep.
So, seems a little like you're kind of. I think she might have had sex, dude. I mean,
you don't know that.
Not to assume.
At least twice.
It
was probably the least emotional.
Oh my god!
Like, I can't even like
just,
awful. Terrible, no good, very bad day.
Very bad day.
Very depressing, probably, and sad. But hey, they got the job done. 2 sons, baby.
At this point, Ed was already 21. Henry was about 25. Still, the 4 Geins lived in their isolated farmhouse with Augusta serving them as a domineering overseer. Then in April 1940, George Gein died after complications from pneumonia, causing his lungs to be filled with fluid. Augusta showed little concern over her husband's passing, attributing his death to his weakness and sinful nature, and frequently commenting that he had gone to hell.
She's so scary.
Such a cool lady. Now with her husband dead, Augusta had complete control over her household, and her youngest son was all but completely devoted to her. This same devotion, however, could not be said for Ed's older brother Henry. In fact, Henry had started dating a divorced woman who had 2 children and began making plans to move in with her.
Good for Henry, dude. Get out of
there. Henry's making moves. He expressed concerns over Ed and Augusta's unhealthy relationship, a criticism which mortified Ed. Then one day in 1944, Henry mysteriously died. Uh-oh. That day, Ed and Henry had been clearing excess vegetation in a nearby field by burning it away. But as Ed later told police, he lost sight of Henry while the 2 were fighting a runaway fire. Curiously, though, Ed led police directly to Henry's dead body.
Not a very good plan there, Ed. Also, great police work.
Yeah, just solid all around, dude. Even more strange, Henry's body did not show any signs of being burned. Instead, his head was severely bruised. However, Henry's death was listed as asphyxiation by the coroner. So, just, tremendously dumb. The police dismissed the chance of foul play as they did not believe Ed was a man capable of murder, which is great. Again, great police.
He seemed like a good guy.
Yeah, he seemed chill, dude.
He seemed doing that.
Finally, at long last, the family was just down to Augusta and Ed, an aging mother and her highly devoted son. However, this would not last long.
Dude, that's like one of the creepiest combos. Like, if you see in real life, like,
that's a creepy combo for sure.
Just like really evil looking old mom and
scary old mom and boyfriend son. Not good. Not a good combo.
Very scary.
Those you draw those 2 tarot cards one after the other, you're doomed, dude. It's game over, bro. How Augusta's death drove Ed to madness. Shortly after Henry's death, Augusta fell ill. She suffered a stroke and needed to be rushed to the hospital. With no one else to take care for her, the responsibility fell on Ed to look after his mother. Around the same time that he became his mom's caregiver, though, he began to read books about strange topics like head shrinking, grave robbing, and human anatomy. After a second stroke on December 29, 1945, Augusta died at the age of 67. This pushed Ed past the breaking point. He boarded up his mother's bedroom and sitting room in the interest of preserving them. So, not a normal guy.
Not the most normal.
Not the most normal dude. As he was consumed with overwhelming grief, Ed's overall condition gradually began to worsen. Acquaintances noted how foul he smelled, how ragged his appearance became, and how unstable he seemed. Meanwhile, he continued to live in the same isolated farmhouse that he'd called home for most of his life, earning a living only through small, odd jobs. Then, in 1947, Ed Gein reportedly began experiencing strange visions. He later said he felt compelled to visit the graveyard where his mother was buried, and there he started digging up corpses, beginning with his mother. He twisted her head from her body with his bare hands, then attempted to shrink it in a similar fashion to what he read in his books. So, cool guy Ed.
Yeah, that's the most horrifying image I can think of at the moment.
Well, it gets worse.
Here we go. Strap it.
Soon enough, he was scanning obituaries of recently deceased women who resembled his mother, prowling graveyards where they were buried and stealing their body parts.
Oh, no.
As he would later tell the police, he did this in hopes of creating a woman's suit so that he could become his mother.
If police just did like an ounce of work being like, hey, you obviously killed your brother. Yeah. None of this would have happened.
Yep.
Okay.
And aside from the suit he hoped to create, Ed Gein also crafted numerous pieces of furniture from the corpses, including lampshades, chairs, and bowls. Eventually, Ed also began targeting living women, killing at least 2, though he's suspected of murdering several more, and adding their body parts to his horrific home collection until he was finally arrested in 1957. He would spend the rest of his life in mental hospitals until he died in 1984, which seems like recent. That seems like...
Yeah, that's why I was so surprised by the mom's birth date. I was like, I thought he was like a 20th century killer.
Yeah, he is, but I mean...
Dang, she was old.
She oldie.
How old was she when she had him then?
27? If my math adds up, because his brother was 5 years older and they had him at 22? I think.
Time's crazy, man.
Yo, flow is crazy, dog.
This dude's flow is crazy.
Yo, her flow was crazy, bro. Though Ed Gein remains far more infamous than his mother today, it cannot be denied that his disturbing obsession with her helped fuel his crime spree of gruesome murders and grave robberies. And thus, when Augusta Wilhelmine Gein died, the Butcher of Plainfield was born. So,
horrifying.
There you go. Sometimes bad people come from bad people.
I'd say almost every time.
Most times I can think of.
I don't think. Have we talked about anyone that like came from like a wonderful supportive family? What was just like.
I feel like we have. I feel like that's happened.
I feel like there's always no one's ever just like born that crazy and violent. Like it's always something.
Well, no, I think a lot of the times it'll be like they were in a good family, but they like hit their head on the swing when they were 2, and then it like that got them. You know what I mean? A lot of the times it's like a head injury.
Who are we talking about that did that?
Well, no, like there's been multiple ones that we talked about where there's like head injury involved, and then they start like lighting things on fire and killing animals, and you're like, oh, this dude just. I'm trying to remember. I can't think of specific people, but I'm pretty sure that that's happened a few times with some of the people we've talked about, where it was like good family, like well, this one's a little different, but sometimes it's like the Porcos. Do you remember Chris Porco?
Oh,
remember that guy?
Yep.
Who like killed his parents, but like they were just like chilled.
Were they though? You never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know,
especially back in the boomer generation that was like everything's fine.
Yeah, they're like nothing is wrong ever.
If our family gets embarrassed, the country club will never have us back.
So yeah, that's Augusta Wilhelmine.
Dude.
And be nice to your kids.
Yeah, be nice to your kids.
Please.
Otherwise, they'll grow up trying to become you.
Trying to wear people's skin and become you.
Trying to bring you back from the dead by wearing skin.
So yeah, if you want to avoid that, be nice to your kids. And then follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, rate the show. Hit us up on Twitter, MMMacabre Monday Morning Macabre, on Instagram, MondayMorningMacabre.com for all the episodes and all that jazz. I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you're nice to your kids.
Please.
Please.
Please be nice to your kids.
If there's one thing you take from this show, be nice to your kids.
Be nice to your kids, please.
And we'll see you next week, gang. I love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.